So Rosemary writes, Ambassador, do you think the U.S. military may have a more realistic and less belligerent understanding of China compared to our State Department? Or is there any division in the State Department, any group that sees that we could cooperate and collaborate with China rather than attempt to dominate?
A very good question. In my experience, the most bloodthirsty people are civilians because they don't risk their lives on the battlefield. They don't have the experience of having been in war. They believe war is a sort of video game in which the other side perishes and our side is left intact. The military have a far more realistic understanding of the limitations of the use of force and the dangers that it poses. So I can recall multiple meetings over the years that I served in the U.S. Foreign Service in the Situation Room at the White House when the civilians were advocating the use of force and the military were advocating caution and the use of diplomacy. Now, it may be that the military have an exaggerated notion of what diplomacy can accomplish, and ideally, the diplomacy is backed by the military, as well as operating as an inducement, a set of positive incentives for other countries to accept our view of where their interests lie and what they should do, as opposed to where they might have started out. Diplomacy is all about persuading others that they should see things the way you do and act accordingly in the way that you want them to act. That isn't accomplished very well by sending warships off their coasts. So that's one thing. The second, I cannot tell you what is happening inside the State Department. Basically, it is being mutilated by what I call the Department of Government incapacitation, not inefficiency, not efficiency. And the current Secretary of State doesn't seem to have much regard for the workforce there. Remember that this administration began by cutting the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, which is part of the State Department, part of the Foreign Service apparatus. And it did so in a very peremptory and cruel way. It has also destroyed the U.S. Institute of Peace in a particularly brutal and, I think, utterly illegal way that I suspect will eventually be reversed by the courts, although there is now doubt about whether the administration is prepared to obey court orders. So there are people in the Foreign Service, in the State Department, who understand foreign cultures and who know what the opportunities are, as well as the perils of dealing with the Chinese, the Russians, the Iranians, others. But I have to say that in my experience, very often, even before this administration raised this practice to the normal level, to make it its normal level, very often when serious crises emerge, the first thing politicians do is throw the experts out of the room.
Mhm.